Just get me the fuck out of here!
So with the new Resident Evil 2 Remake finally out, we got to experience some of the most tension-filled moments with the Tyrant Mr X. Seeing this monster stalk our character throughout our journey in this new RE2 Remake was one of the best aspects of this game, making this Tyrant one of the pivotal features that's helping this title a classic in the making. Anyways, what is up you guys, this is DeVuH, and in this video we'll delve in and see what's new with the base form of Mr X, and see what made this Tyrant so terrifying while we play this game, covering aspects like his overall encounters and footsteps, to his sheer invulnerability to a lot of our weapons, and his overall appearance and in-game battle mechanics. So starting off, let's talk about his general encounters throughout the game, with one of his many appearances, depending on the scenario, was either in the helicopter crash at the east side of the RPD station, or when we're heading towards the library on the west side of the second floor near the STAR's office.
Jesus, stay back!
But with all the other many encounters that we've had with this Tyrant, we the players had to truly be on our toes when dealing with Mr X. Because now, we have this hulking Tyrant chasing after us in a small and dark environment, while at the same time dealing with the many monsters in front of us while Mr X was on our tail. Anyways, one of the most distinct features that this Tyrant has is those loud and thudding footsteps. Because with this feature of Mr X, it truly gave a sense of paranoia during our gameplay in this new Resident Evil 2 Remake, which was extenuated by the wooden floors of the RPD station, almost making it louder than it seems. Which it really did make you feel that he was always just around the corner. But if there was a silver lining with those paranoia-inducing footsteps, it was that we can use them as a general guide as to where Mr X was coming from, giving us players a sense of direction as to where this Tyrant is, whether he may be on the other side of the RPD station, or right above us on the second or third floor of the police department. Also, sometimes, I even find myself standing near one of the save rooms, listening to his footsteps, just to gauge if it would be a perfect time to finally come out of hiding. Also, another aspect that I noticed with Mr X is that he walks much faster than I anticipated in certain times during the game, which may be attributed to the stated adaptive difficulty that the developers added in this game, which makes this Tyrant much more terrifying during our gameplay in this new RE2 Remake, because sometimes we could turn around and see how fast this Tyrant is power walking towards us, which isn't the most ideal situation for us players because our characters doesn't run much faster than this monster, which makes you wonder if Capcom does make an RE3 remake, how they'll handle an upgraded form of Nemesis, because as history stands, Nemesis was already running at full speed at our characters while at the same time wielding a rocket launcher. So if we can use this new Resident Evil 2 Remake's version of Mr X as an example, just imagine how they'll revamp Nemesis in his version of a remake, because that would be a terrifying but great thought. Anyways, back on topic, another aspect with Mr X is his ability to rush at us players even when there's multiple zombies in his way, because he would just smack them to the side during his pursuit of either Leon or Claire. So one needs to be careful to not getting cornered with the many monsters that lurk inside the RPD station while having Mr X marching right behind us. But with this Tyrant's most prominent feature of constantly being on our tail, it's actually during his absences that gives us such a suspenseful time, because during our journey throughout the RPD station, we always had to be vigilant of his footsteps, knowing where exactly that he may be, so that we can't be surprised by any undesirable situation, because the last thing we want to happen is this. Anyways, another great aspect of Mr X is that he appears to be invulnerable to a lot of our weapons, especially when shooting his trenchcoat limiter, making it seem like our bullets are just being deflected off his body armor. But even with the amount of invulnerability that this Tyrant has shown us during the game, he does have a weakness, and that is we can shoot him on the face, which would stagger Mr X just enough for us to run past him. Also, if he does receive enough damage while doing this strategy, he'll proceed to kneel down for a certain amount of time.
Shit!
So it's best that during this downtime of Mr X that we try to distance ourselves from this Tyrant, because after a short while, he'll proceed to stand right back up and continue the pursuit of us players. which this aspect of him was different from the original Resident Evil 2's version, because in that game, after receiving enough damage, he would stay unconscious where we're able to pick up some ammo from his body. Also, another prominent feature that Mr. X sports in this new Resident Evil 2 remake is his ability to stalk our characters from room to room, where he's able to open through doors, go up on stairs, and even climb up ladders, which really threw me off during my gameplay. But with the way Mr. X was so versatile during the game, one would think that we couldn't catch a break from this tyrant. But luckily for us, there were a couple of rooms that we could use as a safe haven while being pursued by this monster, which included the save room on the west side of the RPD station near the stairs, or the STAR's office on the second floor. Because if we go through either one of these rooms, he'll proceed to back away and start searching for us elsewhere, which gives us an opportunity to run away from this tyrant. But let's just say if we had no choice but to go face to face with this tyrant, Mr. X has shown that he can attack us in a couple different ways, which included him smacking our characters, which would cause us to stagger. Or he would push us back where it would cause us to tumble a fair distance. Or sometimes he would grab our players by the head and do a finishing move. Anyways, with all this new gameplay aspects with this version of Mr. X, he does pay a lot of homage to his original Resident Evil 2's version, from him breaking through walls in the RPD's underground parking lot, which is a direct comparison to his jump scare in the east side hall of the RPD station. Or while we were watching him walk ever so slowly towards the camera and proceeds to break it afterwards. But with all the nods to his previous version, the developers from Capcom had added so much more encounters with this tyrant that made us feel as though we could never shake him off our tail, which included several encounters that gave us such a tension-filled experience. From his encounter at the jail area where he killed Ben, or when right after that he was trying to corner us while having the many zombies that surround the area.
Give me a break.
Or his way of chasing Leon all the way to the Umbrella secret lab, where he breaks through the glass of the green room.
Shit! Him again?
Because with all the new features and gameplay mechanics of Mr. X, this monster gave us one of the most tension-filled moments that we've ever seen from a tyrant ever since Nemesis from Resident Evil 3. Anyways, what do you guys think of this new base form version of Mr. X? Please let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear everyone's opinion on this tyrant. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching my in-depth look at this new version of Mr. X. And as always, you guys have a great rest of your day, and this is Hey DeVuH, signing out.